Okay, so we are going through the uh, WMS label printing. We're done with profile options. Now we talk about the printers and how do we link the printer with one of these levels. So let's start with the printer creation. Although in the project the printer creation is a part of the sysadmin job or the DBA, they will create the printer with the unique names, and then they map their IP address and the port number, which will be typically done with the help of sysadmin responsibility, and you can just select those printer from the list of value. So just keep this in mind. This will be anyways a required step, and this printer name should be exactly same as how the third party vendors needed this. So I'm referring this third party. Let's just have a quick discussion on what this third party will do. So third party will provide software through which the label will be actually printed. So the question is then what Oracle will do. So Oracle will provide the data element, and the format through which the data will go to Oracle or go to third party is an XML. So they provide an XML file with the data into it. Actual printing is done by the third party vendor. So third party vendor will provide the software in which you can design the layout. Like the layout, let's say you have an item code and the quantity, you want two data element, so then that design should be there in them. So just like you generate any report, you create some variable name, assign the variable name with the data, and then you print them, right? Similarly, in the printer side also similar design is required, and a lot of the time Oracle has also certified vendors like Zebra Printer, Loftware, Bartender. There's a list of 5 6 vendors which are certified from Oracle for printing these labels. So one can see those lists. It's there in the Oracle support website. So anyway, coming to this, we have to have a printer set up first, which is typically done by sysadmin. So there is not much interference or the input required from the functional consultant. So this will come given by the sysadmin. So once the printer is set up, then we is coming to assigning that printer to the specific document. So those are the next step. For example, we just open up a printer here. Okay, so we've seen the printer creation parts. All right, mostly this is admin job or the DBA. We have to get the right printer name, and then is assigning the printer to the there's a hierarchy. Actually gonna assign a printer to a user, a sub-inventory, responsible application, and the user. If you have multiple one printer assigned to both user, responsibility, and application, then first it will check user, and what is mapped at the user level that will be selected by the user. So it goes from left to right in terms of finding the precedence. So let's go ahead and look for the printer assignment. So here is the printer assignment to the document. You can do from document to printer, or you can also do from printer to document, whichever way. So I have created one. I don't have a printer set up, so I just right click and created new. So this is dummy printer, and you can just double click. I just added one. I just want to highlight few things here, that these are the documents. This is the laundry list of documents. It has all the reports, program, anything which can have an output. It's all listed. Primarily, we are focused on there's something called label type. It's a seeded label types are available, like material, like location, and LPN. So with that will have a lot of data inside it, and then you can pick and choose what data you require from that list and create your subset of data. That's called format. So while I'm telling you, because this is the screen where you come and associate the label type. So let's say for example material. So if I map this material document, that means this is a basic, it's a title is document, but for WMS perspective you can read this as a label type. So this label type is mapped, you can map to any of these, and then you can actually, it has a format also in release 12. So for example, you can map it to applications and write your application name. For example, the application is warehouse management, so I'm gonna warehouse management, yeah, so it will go this way. So this particular printer is mapped to material, so anything that you're printing on material, they'll go to this printer. provided it has an application level mapping. Same thing if I want to do it at the user level also. And suppose this I have another printer defined, let's no print 1, and I mapped no print 1 with this kind of setting. With operations login, it should go to no print 1. So at the lowermost level is user, so this will take the precedence, and while printing the material type of barcode, it will go to the new printer that I will define here as no print 1. So just keep in mind there's a hierarchy through which printer will be selected by the system, and that hierarchy I have already written. You can validate this. And printer is evaluated from the printer assignment, and key is there. The document is actually nothing but a label type. So for each type of document, you can have a mapping with the printer and the user combination. So this is an essential part. If this mapping is not there, the printing will not happen. So that's complete the printing barcode printer to the users and the documents mapping. Second is we have been talking about the label types. So let's see what all label types are there and their mapping with the business flow. That's a very important part, because the business flows definition is, let's say you're receiving the purchase order, let's say you're putting it away the material, or let's say you're picking the sales order, performing a cycle counting. So these are called business flows, and there is a list for each of the business flows. You can dynamically generate your LPN. So so in order to do that, you have to perform this automatic setting. So I go to this screen. Let's say on a you can expand this all the business flow, which is here. You can see the LPN generation for which I'm gonna test run. So I select this flow, business flow, and I see there's a label type is mapped to this. So this label type will be tied to this process. So anytime you generate an LPN as a part of your business process, this label type will be will get selected, and under this label type you will have a label format, and that label format will be printed. If you have more than one label format, because you can define multiple format of label for this label type, you can't create new label type because those are seeded by Oracle. But under one label type you can create multiple formats, and you can decide one of them as a default. So now getting this little confusing, but I think it's important to also understand that when you go to the label type and then go to label format, if you have more than one format defined, then you need to have an new set of another setup required, that's called rule engine. There's a label format selection rule engine. So rule, we have to tell which format to pick. So but in case you have only one format under one label type, then you do not need label format selection rule. Just keep in mind, the rule is required when you have multiple formats under one label type. So just keep that in mind, and then we'll get this clarity done later. So here we are just saying we have a business flow. These are the predefined business flow. And if you don't see your business flow, just try to right click and see new. You'll be presented all the available business flow and try to pick from these. These are seeded. And then on right click, you can map here what all label types you want to. You will see all the label types here, which are given by Oracle. This is also seeded. So from each of the business flow, you will see accordingly what all label types. Not all label types are available for a given business process. So for LPN label type map to LPN generation, and this is a map to an application applicable to an application. That means in that application, anybody, all the users or all the responsibility under this response application, whenever they generate LPN, this label type will kick in. And then next question is, for this label type, what all label formats are there? So let's go to the next level. And if you look from the setup perspective, we are here. Now we are going to define the label format. So I have already picked up the label type here. So I'm going to just select the same label type LPN, and then this is the format, and then you can click on find, so all three will show up. Now if you see here, that's what I was talking, one label type you can create n number of. If you want to create another one, you can create another one. Now this file name lpn.lwl, this has a specific meaning. So for example, this one, the suffix after dot, this is the extension of that file that will be generated, and this extension should be taken in concurrence with the label third party printing softwares. So they will recognize some specific proprietary suffix, so we have to take that name and we have to as it is type in. Before that dot, it's just the name of the format. It's a free text, you can type whatever you like. Just remember that after that text will make a difference, so we have to type exactly how they want us to type. If you have more than one label format, you see one of them can be default. So if you don't have a rule which tells which one, whether to print the Jabra LPN label or Loftware LPN label, by default it will always print Loftware because this is the default format. In order to select the Jabra LPN label for a specific business case, for example, when the business customer is business world, then I want this LPN label to be printed, which is Jabra. Then this kind of things are written in the rule for label printing rule, which we will discuss next. But in case you do not have Jabra LPN or seeded label, only you have Loftware LPN, then you don't need to create a rule. Automatically system will come to the label type. You go to the business flow, it will find the label type, it will come to this label type and see there is only one defined, and this is mapped to default, so it will pick this particular format. Now the next question is, what is inside this format? So you can double click and it will open up. As you see, these are the label fields. So these are the field variable name, and this variable will have a data assigned to it at the time of transaction. So for example, you can create all of these field name. This is free text. You can select from the given list of value, and let's say I want to select something, you can select it. And suppose you don't have a field which you want to select from this list, then you can customize and create your additional field as well, and that something called custom SQL data field. So you will see yes if you create a custom one. These are all seeded one. So you have the opportunity to create or enhance this field list as well using the custom SQL. Say for example, you selected a field. Now the field variable name, this is pre-default, so you can write anything what you like. This particular field column, which is field variable name, this variable name should again be exactly typed in as it is recognized in the vendor printing software, because they printing software will have their design template in their server, and they're going to marry the design template variable name with these names which we are sending. So it should match exactly one to one, so they can assign the data which is stored in this variable while they print in the third party printing software and hardware. So just keep in mind the variable name should be discussed with the third party vendor, and then you type as per their requirement. Most of the time it's recommended not to put a space or a special character. It should be just like a text. You shouldn't be putting like slash or underscore or giving some space, because that may be a problem. But anyway, those things you have to discuss with the third party vendor who is ready. So that's a field variable name here. So now we were talking about the custom field component things. I think let's quickly run through that and see how do we set a custom field. So there's a screen. You can already, there may be some already defined here, so I'll take the material, try to find. Yeah, you see there is a field called sub inventory underscore type. You can similarly, you can create your own, and there should be a select statement. In the user guide you will get to know few details about this. There are some specific way you have to write the selector statement. Like one of them I remember is you must have a label request table in your selector statement. Number two, selector statement should return only one variable. It shouldn't return more than one. So before from, you should have only one column. And then similarly you can see and then write your own selector statement as well. And then under the material you see sub underscore type. So if I go to the material, just to say go to material format and find, then I can just see that sub underscore type. This, if I list a value, will call that. I just say custom SQL is yes. That means this particular column is customized. That's a highlight here. That this was not seeded. It was written with the selector statements, and you can check this at the in the previous screen how to write the selector statement. So with this, the label formats will be ready. Label formats are mapped with the data field and business flow, and we also know how to find the printer name using the signed printer setup. So at this point, I think all data is already set up complete. Let's quickly check. We have done this. The last thing is the rule. So rule, as I said, if you have multiple formats under a given label type, then you want to invoke based on the rule, so you can go ahead and set the label format rule. But otherwise this is an optional setup. Only when you have a complicated rule you can set this label format. But anyway, we'll discuss the label format rule in the next session. Thank you very much for watching.